and welcome to Calico Flower Studio. I'm Dani, and today I invite you to join me as I weave in my visual journal. So how does one do that, you ask? Well, stick around and find out. It's definitely a process that is humbling, and it reminds me to let go of neatness and perfectionism. So anyway, one more thing before we get started. I just wanted to encourage you to subscribe to this channel. If you enjoy hanging out with me here, then please subscribe. It really helps to support my practice, and it costs you nothing except literally half a second of your time. So why not, right? Anyway, thank you so much for being here, and sit back and relax and enjoy the process. All right. Welcome. So today I have my journal here, and some of you may have already seen this journal. This is a journal that I made with handmade paper, and well, I made the paper and then I used the paper to make the journal, and I've been working in it the past few sessions that I've recorded. So here's some of what I've done so far in here. And if you're interested in the videos that I made on each of these pages, I'm going to link them. This one actually did not have a video. I did this recently. If you've been following the news and you're in the US, then you may have heard about Hurricane Hillary coming to visit us here in Los Angeles and Southern California in general. And it was just, I was very fortunate in that it was really just a lot of rain. So I didn't experience too much damage. So that's good. But also it was kind of a cozy day. It reminded me of being home, being back home in Ohio on a cozy rainy day. It's kind of overcast and calm. Not very many people out on the streets. And I just sat here in front of my window at my desk and just let my mind wander and let my spirit unwind as I just watercolored in this book. But I'm gonna let that one go, and I may return to it another day to play around and maybe do some doodles or something on top of the watercolor, but for now I'm gonna let it be. So we're gonna start on a blank page today, and I'm going to do something that I learned this week from a colleague of mine, actually. Her name is, first I'll just start off by saying that in addition to my independent art practice with Calico Flower Studio, I am also the director of visual arts at a nonprofit art studio called Inside Out Productions. And it is an art studio. It's the social enterprise of LA Goal, which is a nonprofit in Culver City, and we partner with adults with developmental disabilities and their support networks in order to provide them with enrichment opportunities, various vocational skills training, and just activities that make life better, you know. And one of those is art, of course. So we have an art studio, and it's pretty awesome. I'm the director there, but I work with a pretty small, tight-knit team of artists slash art instructors, and I learned this, what I'm going to show you today, was inspired by something that our director of fiber arts, Melissa Falco Williams, has been doing in the art studio the past week or so. And she is probably one of the most talented and creative people I've ever met in my life. So I just wanted to give her a shout out for this. So she does fiber art with our members, and I always come home inspired to incorporate more fiber art into my practice. So anyway, enough talking about it. Let me show you. So basically, I'm going to weave. I'm going to do a weaving in my journal, and I'm going to use a lot of terms here. My pages are basically going to be like my loom, and I'm going to use this thread to warp the pages. So I'm going to sew some vertical lines into the paper, and then I'm going to weave right into the book with, and another thing that's kind of like a little non-traditional when it comes to weaving about this project is that instead of weaving with thread or yarn, I'm weaving with strips of fabric. So I just kind of like had this fabric and I cut strips of it and then attached it together to make this sort of like long strip of fabric. So this is how I attach the strips. They don't need to be super duper attached like real professionally and cleanly, because you know what? Life is messy, and that's what I love about this, I don't know, just kind of the ethos of my practice in, upcycling and recycling material. It's a little rough around the edges, and I love that about it. I think it's just so wild and free, and it just like gives it so much character and personality, and you can kind of see that in my handmade paper too sometimes. But I've got these fabric strips with all these like frayed edges, and honestly, the more frayed, the better. And this actually, I had a pair of flare jeans, because those are back in style, and they were just a little too long for me. And if you are a millennial like me and you remember wearing flares when you grew up, you remember that if they were too long, then you would like inevitably step on them as you walked around, and then it would just like eventually the bottom would just like start to hang off, like it would just chew a hole through your pants. Or when it was wet outside or rainy, oh my god, the bottom of your pants were just soaked. So anyway, I trimmed the bottom, and now I have this like little frilly strip of denim, which is fun. And then the last bits of fabric. So we'll see how far that takes me. But before I go any further, I just remembered I was practicing weaving with fabric like this earlier today, and I kind of want to show you what I made. And also, speaking of this whole idea of like, oh, the messier the better, because life is messy and that's what makes it interesting. Let me show you what I made. I'm pretty happy with it. So, check this out. So this is a fabric weaving. I used, the like fabric strips to weave together to create this weaving. and then I tucked, you know, I just kind of shoved pieces of fabric underneath it to give it this, like, some color behind it. And of course I'm just letting all the extra little strips at the end of each fabric strip, all the like dangling pieces that were at the ends, just like hang out and freely fly freely. And anywhere and everywhere I could get some threads to come loose, I of course pulled at them and exaggerated them so that they were just fraying all over the place. Like this, I love this right here, you know? So, whoop, yeah, and like right here, I love that. I'm tempted to call this piece the fabric of the universe. I was thinking about that phrase as I was making it. The fabric of the universe. I feel like I don't know where I've heard that, but I've heard it before. I mean, I'm sure you've heard it before too. Like, why do we say that? Is it because fabric is woven? It's like woven, oh my God, woven fibers. And when you move one row, the other row moves and it changes shape. I mean, how far can we go with that? That's like, that's a metaphor. A metaphor of the universe as a tapestry almost. Anyway, well, I thought this was pretty cool. So there you go. That's what I did today. So, first step to warping a piece of paper, or even a piece of fabric, whatever, is, well, you've got to pull your thread first. But I can't do it too long. I'm probably going to have to cut multiple threads. But that's okay, because I have to consider how easy I want my life to be. You know what I'm saying? First, I'm going to come through the back. I'm going to start from this side and work my way this way. I'm trying to think if I want to get funky with the shape of my warp. If I just want to do straight up and down, just all the way across. Or if I want to a little triangle here. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to do a little sort of angled section down here, and then another angled section up here, so that I can cover both pages, and when I fold it, the thickness will be kind of even. Okay, if that makes sense. If you know, you know. If you don't really get it, that's not a big deal. So I'm going to come through the back here. All right. So now I'm going to go from here up to here. Let's do this far. Okay. Now pull it through. Okay. So now I have a straight up and down line. And then I will go to the other side, come back through. But I'm gonna, since I wanna do like a shape here, I'm going to angle down, or, you know, here's where my string is coming out. And that's where it's going in. So it's a little lower because I'm creating that angle. You'll see. Just sit back and relax and you'll see. So when I was doing this at work on a piece of canvas with Melissa, my colleague, I had a tendency to like make it perfect and make everything really aligned and perfectly spaced and yada yada yada. And Melissa reminded me, you know, hey, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's something I always remind myself, and like I definitely embody in my work. But it's funny, like, when you look at my work, you would probably look at it and think, okay, that person's definitely not a perfectionist, which I'm fine with that. But you'd be surprised. I have to remind myself all the time to just let go, let things happen. Don't be perfect, or don't worry about being perfect. And everything's gonna be okay. It's interesting, like, first of all, perfection is the enemy of progress. But also, it's just not interesting, you know? I want to look at something I can relate to. Something that speaks to me and that has personality. When it comes to tying off the string, I'm just making it up, man. I'm just doing whatever works. Oh, and the rain and the lying about makes us say all the things that we're wanting aloud. Close up the house as fast as you can. For the rest of the night, tell me how we began. How old will we be when we come to our end? Never mind, let me tell you. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be weaving my fabric through. Hopefully it goes well and it doesn't break. Ooh, all right. Let's do the other side. Okay, so I have both of my pages warped. So, as you can see, there's thread. This one's a little funky. It's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. And now, we just start weaving. I'll start from this side. And go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, and under again, and then gently pull my fabric through these threads. And when I say gently, because the thread is thin. That weaving I showed you earlier, I used a much sturdier type of string to warp with. So it was pretty easy. Okay, this is getting easier. Getting easier. Oh. All right, this is not gonna work. right, I am actually going to work in this journal now because the pages are much stronger. This is a fat journal. Woo, man. That's okay. That's what we love about it. Okay, so let's find a good page to work in. I'll show you what I've got in here, actually. What page? Ah. This is kind of a nice page. I'll hold on to that. I mean, this is blank, but that's... I kind of want to work on a page that's already got something there, because it'd be kind of neat. Okay, let's do this page. All right, so I'm just gonna do the weaving on this side, and then I've got my little flowers over here that I already watercolored a while back. So let's try this again. Okay, so start from the bottom. Actually, I'll start from the top maybe. Let's flip this around. Okay. Makes my book a little hard to close. Okay, how fun is that? I mean, it makes my book a little difficult to close, but it still closes. Oh well, that's fine. I like a fat book. So, anyway, I could have done just a regular like rectangle of a weaving, but I just always have to do something weird and different. I don't know, that's just how I roll. So I made this weird shape out of the weaving, but got my different fibers woven throughout there, and it's just kind of fun. I think it complements this side of the page really well, and it's just like a whole new texture, a whole new way to incorporate fiber art, stitching, weaving, what have you, into journaling. So let me know if you give this a try and how you feel about it. And thank you for joining me through this journey of figuring this out. A few hiccups and winding roads along the way, but that's all right. So thank you, and please subscribe if you have not already, because when you subscribe to this channel, it helps to increase the visibility of this channel so that I can ultimately share what I love with more people in the world and bring them joy. Yeah, I think that this is something special, so help spread the word and leave a comment. I love to hear from you, and I will always respond, so thank you.